Hi, this is Kelly with Hero Arts, and in this video I will be creating a card which features the die cut layering technique. This is a great way to add dimension and elevate your cards to the next level. So let's get started. First, I have two shades of green cardstock that I will be using to die cut the Hero Arts Leaves and Vines die. I will place the light green cardstock down on my magnetic mat, followed by the die, cut side down, then my top plate, and then run it through my machine. If you are having troubles removing any of the negative pieces of the die, a piercing tool works great for this. Then I will die cut the dark green cardstock the same way. And you will notice that I run the die through my machine forward and back. And I do that because this is an intricate die that I want to make sure all edges are fully cut. For simple dies, you only need to run it through your die cutting machine once. Now I'm going to glue these two die cuts together, slightly offset, so it appears that the darker green die is creating a shadow. I like to use a liquid adhesive with a fine point so I can just add small dots of glue over the entire die. And if you want to step it up another notch, die cut one more layer in a different color and add it on. I think a white or black layer on the bottom would really make the die pop off the card. And now back to the die cutting machine. I have some alphabet dies that I'm using to create the word thanks. And I'm going to die cut 3 of each letter because once again, I'm going to layer them on top of each other to create more dimension. I think a basic alphabet die set is a great staple to have in your craft supplies. You can create your own sentiments or personalize cards with the recipient's name. I'm using liquid glue to adhere each of the 3 layers together to create a sturdy chipboard-like letter. You could also offset the letters to create a shadow effect like we did with the background die. And once these letters are done, it's time to start assembling the card. I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base that the leaves background die will fit perfectly on. But before I glue it on, I'm going to use my paper trimmer to cut out a 1-inch section in the middle of the die for my message. And here are those 2 sections that I will now glue onto my card base, leaving a gap in the middle for the thanks message. Then I will move on to adhering the letters with liquid adhesive as well. By trimming out a section of the background die, the word thanks is much more readable being on a solid background than if I had just adhered it over the busy background. And the last thing I'm adding to the card is a coordinating sentiment below the word thanks. This message reads, "I appreciate all that you do." I'm mounting the stamp on a clear acrylic block and stamping it using black ink. I will trim out the message to a thin strip and then use foam adhesive to mount it to the card. I love adding smaller coordinating messages alongside bold sentiments for a nice contrast. And the Thanks Stampin' Cut set I used has some great ones. So that finishes off this card, and you can see here the dimension that the die cut layering adds to the card. I also created another card in a more contrasting color scheme using the same technique that I love just as much. So I hope you enjoyed the video and are inspired to try out this technique. Thanks for watching.